and Cailin, back again with Double Top. I'm Hannah. And I'm Cailin, and we're at Sardi's in New York City for the all-nighter press day. If you've loved Havana Rose Liu since Bottoms, you're in good company. And we have great news. She just made her theater debut. Havana plays Lizzy, an all-nighter at the Newman Mills Theatre at the Robert W. Wilson MCC Theatre Space. The show follows a tight-knit group of roommates as they pull one last all-nighter to complete their final assignments. And Havana's part of a cast of fellow It Girls, Kristine Froseth, Julia Lester, Alyah Chanelle Scott, and Kathryn Gallagher. We caught up with Havana at the all-nighter press day at Sardi's. Listen in. In honor of all-nighter, can you tell us about your own personal, most memorable all-nighter?
I pulled all-nighters all the time in college. I know, I'm like perpetually gonna have more wrinkles than anyone else because of it. I was making, I had an art piece due the next day, and I was making sculptures out of bread. And so I was molding all of this bread in my house, and by the end of the night, the whole floor was covered in flour. I was covered in flour, but I had these like sculptures of bread, and I remember my roommate coming home being like, what the frick is going on in this space?
Did you do well on it?
I actually can't even remember. There's so many brain cells dead from all the all-nighters, I cannot remember at all.
You inhaled too much flour?
Yeah, all I can see is flour.
What do you like to do after a long day of work?
Pass out. I just go to bed. Yeah. This is such an exhausting process in the best way. Like, it uses every single part of you in a way that I don't think I've ever experienced in the craft before. Because it's my first play, I think I'm just discovering rehearsal, and like sometimes we go through a whole run of the play and I'm like, so we did it, we're wrapped. And then it's like, oh no, we have to do this 92 more times. And so I think I'm just finding my own appreciation for the theater and also rhythms in myself, and right now I'm just trying to go to sleep. But sometimes I'm so wired too because I'm having so much fun that I go home and I'm like in the shower, like what am I going to do with myself?
What is the difference when you're working on screen versus on stage and you're just getting started, but still?
Yeah. Well,
You've had a lot of rehearsals.
That's true. I'm like, I think everyone's lying when they say this is the same craft. Feels like two completely different things. There's so much more. There's so many differences between the two, and I think it's really an interesting transition, and there's been a strong learning curve in a way that I definitely expected going into it, but that I've been really grateful because all of the people involved in the project have really helped me and Kristine, who this is also her first play, really helped us learn how to do this new thing. And I think I'm spending a lot of time like yelling in my house just to figure out how to project. And like certain other things where sometimes Kristine and I, after doing it, will laugh at each other because we're like, your face was moving so much. There's all these little things that it feels like we're learning how to take in the whole room and the whole space. And I don't know, it's making me also use my whole body at once. And I'm just learning a lot about the instrument of myself.
Sounds like a lot of fun. Yeah. And this is such a good group to do it with.
Oh my God, I'm so lucky.
I love this group so much.
They're so nice and wonderful. They're really like it's the best people I could have possibly done a first experience with. First experiences are always tender, you know?
Yeah.
There's always that feeling of like, will I make it through this? Will I get to the other side? And I think they've all helped send us life rafts along the way.
I really love the poster because when I think back to my most memorable college all-nighters, honestly, a lot of them is like, we didn't even go out. Like, it was literally just sitting around a table
100%.
talking. It can be so memorable. Tell me about the dynamic between this group of roommates and what this all-nighter brings out in them.
Oh, without giving too much away.
Yeah, without giving too much away.
I would say that this is a group of friends who's been through so much together. They have held each other through so many different things that are sort of classic experiences of being a young woman growing up in the world. And I think that they've built identities around each other in a very symbiotic way that I think this moment, at the very tail end of college, when that is about to, in many ways, disband, ends up bringing out a lot of different complexities and dynamics that I won't get into too much, but that you'll have to find out for yourself.
I'm so excited. And tell me about, I really like The Breakfast Club is one of my favorite movies, and it kind of reminds me of that because I think there's
so
something to stories that take place only in one place. Like, what do you think it is that brings out something in characters, just watching them in one setting the entire story?
So interesting. Yeah, that's a good reference, actually. I mean, I think
my favorite movie.
Well, there
I think
you go.
about it a lot.
You're like, I can connect it to anything. Yeah. I mean, I feel like it's funny. I think we all have moments of our life where so much growth can happen in a very short period of time. And I think if you have, especially in a group dynamic like the Breakfast Club that way, I think there are these moments where you're like, I was only with those people for 2 days, but it changed my entire trajectory of myself, who I am, what I think about, what I like. And I think that core things like that are the memories that stay with us as people, and so it makes sense that they're reflected so well in art that way, you know?
Okay, we do not do that on purpose. No, we're not having all the time. Seriously. I play this, yeah.